Chapter 5. EMPs. This means war. The transport back to Station 2 felt different this time. Heavier somehow. Weighted with new responsibilities and the memory of those darkened ships drifting powerless in Earth's oceans. Jay stared out the viewport at the blue marble below, trying to process everything that had changed in the span of a few hours. Mitchell sat across from him, her tablet out, stylus dancing across the screen as she sketched diagrams and scribbled calculations. Her enthusiasm was infectious, or would have been if Jay could focus on anything she was saying. The beauty of space-based lasers, Mitchell continued, her voice animated with excitement, is no atmospheric interference. No thermal blooming, no scattering, just pure, coherent light delivery. I could build you a 10,000-watt diode laser array that would make Earth's missile defense systems look like flashlights because the atmosphere is the main problem with their lasers. She swiped to a new screen, pulling up component specifications. The electronics black market in Shenzhen has everything we need. Super-grade laser diodes, focusing optics, power conditioning systems, under 200 ounces of silver for the whole package. That's pocket change for our budget. Jay nodded absently, but his mind was elsewhere. What the hell was I thinking? Command felt like a physical thing pressing down on his shoulders. 45 million people. That's what Station 2 could hold at full capacity. 45 million lives depending on his decisions. I'm a pilot. I fly things from point A to point B. I'm not qualified to run a space station. Mitchell gestured enthusiastically at her tablet. We could mount multiple arrays on both stations. Defensive perimeters, overlapping fields of fire. The targeting systems alone would be fascinating to develop. Real-time tracking, predictive algorithms, automated threat assessment. Maybe Russell would want this job. He's smart, organized, knows the administrative side. I could go back to flying shuttles, maybe take some tourists around the stations, keep things simple. The Chinese have been developing some interesting gallium arsenide substrates. Higher efficiency, better thermal management. We could probably push 15, maybe 20,000 watts per array if we really push the engineering envelope. Dr. Jackson said I could quit any time. Just find a replacement. Russell's been working with Jack for years, knows the systems, understands the politics. He'd be perfect. Mitchell looked up from her tablet, noticing his distraction. Jay, you're not listening to any of this, are you? Before Jay could respond, Denise's voice filled his head through the neural implant. Administrator Kwaramba, I apologize for the interruption, but we have urgent updates from Earth. Jay straightened in his seat. Report. The UN fleet remains disabled approximately 15 nautical miles from Future World Island. They are drifting. All 12 vessels are dead in the water. No power, no communications, no propulsion. The UN Security Council has drafted Emergency Resolution 2849 declaring Dr. Jackson's actions an act of war against the international community. Mitchell set down her tablet, suddenly serious. Act of war? We disabled their ships. We didn't sink them. The UN Secretary-General is demanding immediate access to both stations for inspection and verification of peaceful intent. They're threatening to declare all station personnel terrorists under international law. Jay felt his stomach clench. Casualties from the EMP attack. None reported. The ship's emergency systems remained functional. Medical, fire suppression, lifeboats, and the like. However, the crews are effectively stranded until power can be restored. How long until they get power back? Dr. Jackson's EMP weapons were specifically designed to cause semiconductor damage, not just temporary disruption. Optimistic estimate for full repairs, 2 to 3 weeks. Some vessels may need to be towed to port. Mitchell whistled softly. 3 weeks without power? That's not a warning shot, that's a statement. Dr. Jackson has requested your immediate presence on Future World Island. Emergency leadership meeting. Jay closed his eyes, feeling the weight of command settle even heavier on his shoulders. A day ago, I was just flying messages between research teams. Now I'm involved in what the UN considers an act of war. Understood. We'll depart immediately. As their transport approached Station 2's docking bay, Jay found himself studying the massive structure with new eyes. Not just an impressive piece of engineering, but a potential target. Those UN ships were just the beginning. Earth's governments wouldn't give up after one failed mission. Maybe I should resign before this gets worse. Let someone qualified handle it. The shuttle Jay used for the trip to Future World Island was sleek and new, part of Station 2's administrative fleet. This one was assigned to him, personally. Unlike the utilitarian transports, this one had been designed for comfort and speed, padded leather seating, panoramic windows, and controls that responded to his touch like a high-performance aircraft. He wondered how fast it actually was. Mitchell settled into the co-pilot seat, still carrying her tablet and her enthusiasm for defensive laser arrays. You know, with the right targeting systems, we could protect both stations and the island simultaneously, overlapping coverage, redundant systems, multiple engagement protocols. Jay focused on the pre-flight checklist, trying to lose himself in familiar procedures. Engine temperature nominal, fuel pressure good, navigation systems online. Simple, straightforward mechanical tasks that didn't require making decisions that could affect millions of lives. The real challenge would be power distribution, Mitchell continued. Those laser arrays would need dedicated power units, probably one per array cluster, but the engineering is totally feasible with our current technology. I could tell Dr. Jackson I made a mistake, that I'm not the right person for this job. He'd understand. He's a practical man. They lifted off from Station 2's shuttle bay, and Jay pointed the craft toward the blue curve of Earth below. The flight to Future World Island would take 40 minutes, according to the readout. 40 minutes to figure out how to explain that he'd changed his mind about being an administrator. As they descended through Earth's atmosphere, Jay caught his first glimpse of the megajets. Jesus, Mitchell breathed, pressing her face to the window. Look at those things. 3 massive aircraft were queued up on Future World Island's runway, each one huge, larger than anything he'd ever seen. The first one was just beginning its takeoff roll, 8 enormous engines spooling up to full power. Steam jet contrails stretched behind it like white ribbons, and the lift jets under its wings kicked up clouds of vapor that covered the entire airport in a dense fog bank that quickly dissipated. Wingspan has to be 300 meters, Mitchell said, awe evident in her voice. Passenger capacity, God, probably 1,200 people per flight. Jay had seen the megajets docked at the island before, but never during takeoff. The sight was incredible, a monument to human engineering climbing toward the stars, carrying a small town's worth of people to the space station above. The second megajet began its takeoff sequence as the first disappeared into the sky above them. Jay watched the massive aircraft lumber down the runway, defying intuition through sheer brute force and advanced engineering. Based on the old Lockheed Martin CL-1201 concept, but scaled up a little, those engines are probably putting out 100,000 pounds of thrust each. 8 engines per aircraft, Mitchell calculated quickly. 800,000 pounds of thrust. No wonder they can carry that much weight. The third megajet was positioning for takeoff as Jay brought his shuttle in for landing on the island's secondary runway. Through the cockpit windows, he could see the organized chaos of the spaceport, ground crews, baggage trucks, passenger terminals bustling with activity. All of this depending on leaders making good decisions. And now I'm supposed to be one of those leaders.
Dr. Jackson was waiting in the island's primary conference room, a circular space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the spaceport. Jack sat to his right, her expression grimmer than Jay had ever seen it. Retired Admiral Morrison occupied the chair across from Dr. Jackson, with Russell typing frantically on his tablet beside her. 2 other figures Jay didn't recognize completed the circle, a stern-faced woman in civilian clothes and an older man with the bearing of career military. "Jay, thank you for coming so quickly," Dr. Jackson said as Jay and Mitchell took seats. "Let me introduce Director Sarah Kowalski from our Intelligence Division and General Frank Torres, our Senior Military Advisor." Handshakes were exchanged, but the atmosphere was tense, focused. This wasn't a social meeting. The situation on Earth is escalating rapidly, Director Kowalski began without preamble. The UN Security Council is meeting in emergency session. Early reports suggest they're considering a formal declaration of war. War? Jay felt his mouth go dry. Against what? We're not a country. Dr. Jackson corrected him. We meet all of the UN criteria to be a country: population, real land, a flag, recognized by another country, a formal government. We are a country. Even if we weren't a country, the threat is against what they're calling rogue elements threatening international peace and security, General Torres replied. In practical terms, that means us. Dr. Jackson leaned forward, his hands clasped on the table. The EMP attack was necessary to protect our sovereignty, but it's given them the excuse they've been looking for. Earth's governments have wanted to act against us since before Constant Star became operational. Admiral Morrison activated a wall display showing global news feeds. Headlines scrolled past in multiple languages. Space stations attack UN fleet. Active war from orbit. Terrorist threat from space. Public opinion is mixed. About 40% support the UN's position, 30% are calling for negotiations, 30% don't have enough information to form an opinion, Russell reported, not looking up from his tablet. The key, Director Kowalski said, is getting our side of the story out before the UN controls the narrative completely. We need to explain why we disabled those ships, what our actual intentions are. Which brings us to our options, Dr. Jackson said. Jack? Jack activated her tablet, projecting a list onto the wall display. Option 1. Complete withdrawal. Abandon the island, maintain minimal station operations, avoid all contact with Earth governments. That's surrender, General Torres said flatly, and it won't work. They'll still consider us a threat. Option 2. Limited engagement. Negotiate through intermediaries, offer inspections, try to reach some kind of accommodation. Also won't work, Admiral Morrison added. They don't want accommodation, they want control. Option 3. Full disclosure. Reveal everything. The ASI technology, the portal discoveries, our long-term plans. Let Earth's populations decide for themselves. Risky, Director Kowalski said. Once that information is public, every government on Earth will be scrambling to either acquire it or destroy it. Dr. Jackson looked around the table. Option 4, direct communication, a formal address to the UN, broadcast globally, explaining our position and our offer of non-aggression. A speech? Jay asked. Not just a speech, a demonstration. Show them what we've accomplished, what we're offering humanity. Make it impossible for their governments to suppress the information. Russell looked up from his tablet. We could override their communication systems if necessary. Connie and Denise working together could penetrate most communication networks. That would be another act of war in their eyes, General Torres warned. Everything we do is an act of war in their eyes. The question is whether we choose to be victims or participants in shaping humanity's future.
Jay saw the enormity of the decision overshadowing the room. These are the kinds of choices administrators have to make. Life and death, war and peace, the future of human civilization. I can't handle this. I should be flying shuttles, not sitting in rooms where people decide the fate of humanity. Jay, Dr. Jackson said, as administrator of Station 2, your opinion carries significant weight. What's your assessment? Jay looked around the table, seeing expectant faces waiting for his input. They think I belong here. They think I have something valuable to contribute. Maybe Russell really would be better at this. Jay started, then stopped. Dr. Jackson, can I ask you something? Of course. Russell has been working with administration for years. He understands the political side, the diplomatic implications. Wouldn't he be better suited for Station 2 command? The room went quiet. Russell's typing stopped, and he looked up with surprise. You want to give up the position? Jack asked. I want to make sure the right person has it, Jay said carefully. Russell knows this stuff better than I do.
Russell set down his tablet and turned to face Jay directly. Jay, can I tell you something? Sure. 3 months ago, Dr. Jackson offered me command of Station 3. Jay blinked. Station 3? Dr. Jackson nodded. Part of our planned 36-station rollout. Station 3 will be operational in approximately 3 months, positioned 10 degrees ahead of Station 2. Russell will be pioneering humanity's expansion into the outer solar system. That station will be the foundation of exploring farther. I've already named the ASI, Evelyn. I've been working with her for weeks, planning the station's social structures, resource allocation, cultural development. Jay's mind went blank. So, you don't want Station 2? God, no, Russell laughed. Station 2 is going to be dealing with Earth politics, refugee management, industrial development. Station 3 gets to be pure exploration, pure human expansion. Much more my style. Admiral Morrison leaned forward. Jay, you need to understand something. Station 2 isn't just another facility. It's going to be humanity's primary gateway to space adaptation. You're not just administering a station. You're architecting a new branch of human civilization. This is exactly why someone more qualified should take my place. Jay, Dr. Jackson's voice cut through his protest. Yesterday, when Station 1 was under attack, what did you do? I told Connor to mobilize Station 2's defensive systems. Without hesitation, without asking permission, you saw what needed to be done, and you did it. Dr. Jackson's eyes were steady, serious. That's not administration, Jay. That's leadership. Director Kowalski nodded. Leadership isn't about knowing everything. It's about making good decisions with incomplete information. You've already proven you can do that. Jay looked around the table again, seeing not expectation, but confidence. They weren't waiting for him to prove himself. They already believed he belonged here. Maybe the problem isn't that I'm not qualified. Maybe the problem is that I'm scared. All right, Jay said slowly. If we're going with the direct communication option, how do we do it? Dr. Jackson smiled. We give the UN exactly what they've been demanding. A formal address from Station Space leadership broadcast live to the entire world. When? As soon as we can arrange it. Tomorrow, if possible. Russell was already typing again. I can have broadcast equipment set up within 12 hours, full global coverage, multiple languages, backed up by our own transmission systems in case they try to jam us. And what do we say? Jay asked. The truth, Dr. Jackson replied. We tell them what we've built, what we're offering, and what we're prepared to protect. We give humanity a choice. Fear the future or embrace it. Jay's Ephesius chest tightened, not with the weight of command, but the determination of purpose. This isn't about being qualified. This is about being willing to try. All right, Jay said slowly. If we're going with the direct communication option, how do we do it? Through the conference room windows, the fourth megajet was beginning its takeoff sequence, carrying another 1,200 people towards the stars. Soon, if they succeeded, millions more would follow. Maybe I can't go back to being just a pilot, Jay thought, watching the massive aircraft disappear into the clouds. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. A sudden idea hit Jay. The UN is a paper tiger. They're posturing, but they really can't do anything. I say we get all of our shuttles, automated cargo included, surround every major news outlet headquarters building, just floating in the air, CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, and whoever else. Create a public spectacle. A publicity stunt, if you will. We've been hiding somewhat until now. It's time we come out of hiding in a big way. Right? UFO in huge letters on the sides of the shuttles. Take any reporter that wants to go up to the station.
These videos are time-consuming and a bit difficult to make. I would prefer if you told me now that you think they're crap. If not, then please at least hit the thumbs down button. Thank you. If you like the videos, please tell me, and tell me how to improve them.
I'm just one guy, and I often get wrapped up in the technical details. I miss a lot of stuff, I'm sure. Fresh eyes see what I miss, so please tell me. At least hit the like button. And if you're so inclined, please hit the share button. Thank you.